Welcome back to Daily Unboxing. We're always looking for the next best Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E router or mesh system. So today we're going to review a new Wi-Fi 6 mesh system from a company called King Signal, and it is called Elfks Elf1 Ax6000 Wi-Fi 6 mesh system. And the reason we select to review this mesh system is because of its impressive hardware. So in this review we will do a Wi-Fi speed, coverage and performance test and see how Elf1 compares against the existing Wi-Fi 6 mesh system in the market. So please sit back, relax and enjoy the review. Also please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notification for the future videos. Let's first do a quick unboxing and see its contents. The mesh unit comes with some quick start guides, Wi-Fi 6 mesh units, power adapters and Ethernet cables. Now let's look at the specs. The mesh unit are powered by 64-bit quad-core CPU running at 2.2 GHz, 1 GB RAM, 512 MB flash, tri-band Wi-Fi 6, OFDMA, MU-MIMO, BSS color, 8 antennal antennas, WPA3, also supports Ethernet backhaul and more. In the port options, the main unit has 2.5 gig WAN port and 4 1 gig LAN ports, and satellite unit has 4 1 gig LAN ports, sync button and reset button. Now let's talk about design and features. The design had good ventilation on top, bottom and on the sides to keep the powerful hardware temperature under control. The overall body dimensions are medium, measuring 7.8 inch wide, 2.7 inch thick and 10 inch tall. The mesh system has a nice diamond-like design and overall solid construction. It has 8 antennal antennas and you cannot remove them. The 2-unit mesh system is configured for maximum performance and coverage up to 7,500 square feet and 300 devices. It is a tri-band Wi-Fi 6 mesh system. As every other Wi-Fi 6 mesh system, a single 5G band is configured for backhaul. So the mesh system can provide a total bandwidth of about 6,000 megabits per second. And following is a breakdown. The 2.4G can deliver up to 1200 megabits per second. The 5G 1 band can deliver up to 2400 megabits per second, and 5G-2 band can deliver up to 2400 megabits per second as well. And those max speeds are only possible with the right client hardware only, so your speeds will vary. Now let's do some performance, coverage and speed test. So we place the main mesh unit in the basement storage room. It has concrete walls around it and it is in the lowest part of the house. And we place the second mesh unit on the main floor of the house and complete the mesh setup. For this test we're using Intel AX210 Wi-Fi 6E card installed in our laptop, and we're also using 10G Ethernet adapter for our iPerf3 server. Since a lot of new Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E routers and mesh units are offering 2.5G WAN ports, so we want to test the full bandwidth of the routers and mesh systems. So the total square footage of the house is 5,000 square feet. I will be testing Wi-Fi connection in different corners and floors of the house to see how well the Wi-Fi 6 mesh system performs in terms of Wi-Fi speed and coverage. In this test we're using iPerf3 performance test with 5 streams to measure the maximum bandwidth. So if you're not familiar with the iPerf3, it is a tool to measure maximum bandwidth on the wireless or wired networks. So we call our mesh Wi-Fi Elfks and have other Wi-Fi signals to create real-world scenario where we have a lot of Wi-Fi signals causing interference. So let's get started. I have 1 gig Verizon Fios connection, and for the first test I've connected the laptop to a mesh unit via Ethernet cable, and we are getting close to 1 gig internet speed, confirming the mesh system can handle 1 gig internet speed without any problem. Now for the first Wi-Fi speed test, I've placed the laptop with Wi-Fi 6E card installed right next to the router, and as you can see we are connected with speed up to 1.2 gigabits per second, confirming the 80 MHz channel is working correctly. And currently 160 MHz channel is not supported, but I hope it can be enabled in the future with new firmware updates. Then using iPerf3 5-stream test, we were able to get max speed up to 950 megabits per second, which is one of the fastest speeds we have achieved. This is a promising start. Now for the second test, we are standing 30 feet away from the Wi-Fi 6 mesh unit's main router in the basement with a couple of walls between Wi-Fi router and the laptop. I have so far good Wi-Fi signals and solid connection. Using iPerf3 5 streams, we were able to get max speed up to 451 megabits per second wireless bandwidth speed. This is again one of the best scores we have achieved at this location. Now let's move from the basement to the main floor of the house and do a third Wi-Fi speed and connection test. Here we are standing right next to a second mesh unit with excellent Wi-Fi signals and solid connection. Using iPerf3 5 stream, we were able to get max speed up to 479 megabits per second wireless bandwidth speed. This is again great result and clearly see the benefit of the mesh system. For the next test, we move far left side of the house and close to 60 feet from the main router and a floor and few wall between the router and the laptop and 30 feet from the second mesh satellite. This is the toughest spot in the house as we have seen in the previous reviews, and first thing we have noticed is that we are connected with one of the best Wi-Fi signal strength we have ever seen from our previous reviews. Here using iPerf3 5-stream test, we were able to get max speed up to 469 megabits per second wireless bandwidth speed, which is one of the best scores we have recorded at this location of the house. These are great numbers. Now let's move to the far right side of the house and close to 30 feet from the main Wi-Fi router, with the floor and few walls between the router and the laptop, and 45 feet from the second satellite unit. Here we have good Wi-Fi signals and solid connection, and using iPerf 3.5 streams, we were able to achieve 489 megabits per second wireless bandwidth speed, which is again one of the top scores so far we have captured, and excellent results. For our final test, we are moved to the second floor of the house. Here we have 2 floors and few walls between the main router, and 1 floor and few walls between a second Wi-Fi 6 mesh unit. Again, we have solid Wi-Fi connection here, and using iPerf 3.5 streams, we were able to achieve 539 megabits per second wireless bandwidth speed, which is again one of the best scores so far at this location. Now let's talk about the router setup. The mesh unit setup was a very easy 3-step process. All you have to do is download the app to your Android or iOS device, connect your router to your modem, or if you have Fios with the Ethernet connection, you can connect the router's WAN port directly to the Ethernet cable and you don't need a modem. Then just follow the instructions in the app to complete the setup, or you can set up using a web browser. We're going to go over the web setup really quickly to see what are the available options. On the main home screen, you will see a network topology, followed by the online devices, router's uptime, Wi-Fi information, network speed information, software version, WAN information, and some shortcuts. Looking at the top menu from the left to right, we have our internet settings, followed by the Wi-Fi settings. Here you can set up your Wi-Fi to a single SSID or keep them separate. Select password, encryption. You can also set up the Wi-Fi power mode. Let's jump to the advanced settings. Here you have all the options discussed before with more advanced options. Looking at the wireless settings, you can select Wi-Fi mode, Wi-Fi bandwidth, visibility, and more. Continue down the left column, you can set up LAN settings, routing settings, followed by the parental control, which is great. You can control online time or filter URL by adding URL of the website you want to block. Then continue down the left column, you have IPv6 settings. Then we have a lot more detailed functions: guest network, QoS, firewall, port forwarding, DDNS, UPnP, traffic statistics, MAC filtering, port filtering, URL filtering, and DMZ host. Then continue down the left column, we have system settings, which allow you to set up admin password, time zone, transmission area settings, system restart option, system log, and backup and restore option. And in the last, we have a software upgrade option where you can upload latest firmware or set it to auto to upgrade. But you don't have to set up all these settings if you're not a power user. You can leave everything to default. Let's do the final summary. Overall, Elfks Elf1 Ax6000 Wi-Fi 6 mesh system performed very well in this review. The mesh system's overall performance was great and priced at $599 at the time of this review, which is not bad considering the powerful hardware like 2.2 GHz Qualcomm 64-bit CPU, 1GB RAM, 512 MB flash, and I'm pretty sure the company will continue to improve the performance of the system in the future firmware upgrades. The Wi-Fi 6 mesh unit produced one of the best Wi-Fi coverage and Wi-Fi bandwidth speeds we have seen compared to our previous reviews, and doing it with a good looking design and one of the best hardware in the business. So if you're in the market for Wi-Fi 6 mesh system, then I highly recommend you should consider Elfks Wi-Fi 6 mesh system. Let me know what you guys think of the review in the comments below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications for the future videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.